Kay Kilgarra from Alice Springs was the first female rider ever to finish the safari, and this year has a place in the Honda team. One of the fastest riders in the event, KTM rider Glenn Hoffman, shows his years of safari experience as he races towards the tiny village of William Creek, population 4, for a welcome rest and refuel break.
Interesting to see how much fuel we get in this one. That's the other pump.
Okay. What's the problem? Broken engine pipe, and we've got a bad exhaust leak and no power, and we've got to fix before the next stage. If we don't fix it, we might not be able to start, so we've got to fix it.
French crew René Dantzler and Jean-Luc Schneider find a practical way of removing a thick layer of Aussie dust. The little Suzuki of Onui and Howard needs some running repairs after suffering considerable rock damage underneath. As the national class field heads west from William Creek, competition is strong between Powers Courier, John and Andrew Coker's Land Cruiser, and the ever-present bug of Hugh Hodgkinson and Bob Nicholson. The end of the second selective of the day and the welcome sight of the finish control signals the start of a long road section to Cadney Homestead on the Stuart Highway north of Coober Pedy. Cadney Park, and the mechanics go into action once again, repairing minor problems, checking everything, and preparing the vehicles for the next day of the Australian safari. In the dawn light of day 3, French rider Jean-Luc Martin awaits his starting time as he encounters his first road train, over 55 metres of truck, a common sight in outback Australia. They set out north along the Stuart Highway to a refuel at Marla Bore, and then east to Labna Station for the start of a 240-kilometre section, which will take them into the Northern Territory. Yoko Fukuzawa proved that deafness is no barrier if your heart's big enough, and the diminutive Japanese lady got right on with it, winning everyone's admiration. Billowing dust signals the start of the section as the competitors race toward the territory border.
Well, Rod, it looks like the Jones jinx has struck again. What's happened this time, mate?
Well, a bit unfortunate here. We were going really well, but last night, or yesterday, we lost our halder, and we fixed that last night, and I gave it another test, and it just blacked out completely again. And then on the way out, the lights went, and I thought, oh well, we tried to fuse it, they wouldn't go. So then we just continued on the section. Then the fuel pump went, so I rigged that up with another wire. And then the next thing, the ignition's gone. So there's something in the car that's actually melting down all the electrics. So yeah, it's not looking too good for our Valvoline truck.
Okay. Sorry, mate.
Powers and Ewing stop to ask if they can help. But sadly, this is the end of the 1995 safari for Rod Jones and Eve Rio. Michael Denham thinks he's made a navigation error, and Father Terry turns back to check. But they were correct after all, and after a short delay, sort it out and press on. Hedericks is flying, literally at the head of the bikes, and shows his style. Just ahead of the ever-present Riley, now getting used to the power of the big 600 Honda. After a refuel stop at Calgary, the field heads westward towards Ayers Rock, across a fast desert section through Oldunda, Lindavale and Curtin Spring stations. The 230-kilometre section features a variety of sand dunes, salt flats and sandy station tracks as it winds through the Central Australian desert landscape. The Australian safari is famous for its scenic route, and 1995 is no exception. The spectacular Mount Connor is but one example. Fully equipped paramedic ambulances from the New South Wales Ambulance provide emergency cover throughout the entire safari. Saka gets it wrong near one of the many bores en route, but soon finds the right track and is on his way again. Manwaring has Keith Wheels' big Nissan wound up now and is in a handy position, duelling for the lead with the Toyotas of Glennie and Martin. A Rise turbo diesel Isuzu Bighorn screams to a halt for a gate, and one of the Japanese TV crews get a close-up look at the action and a good coating of Central Australian dust. The camera catches Glennie in an uncharacteristic moment with a lose in the big Toyota. But look at the tracks. He isn't the only one. A spectacular desert sky signals the end of the day as competitors arrive at the Ayers Rock campsite ready for another night's rest.
Well, Jeff Pickering, all the way down from Townsville on your umpteenth safari. How's it going for you this time?
Yeah, very good, thanks, Bob. We had a few problems yesterday with some shock absorbers, but other than that, the car's going very well, very strong, and no, it feels really good, thanks, Bob.
Good. And what position are you running in at the moment, Jeff?
I'm not really sure. I think we're running about 8th outright. It's a very strong field, as you know, and there's some very good international drivers here, and we're very happy with our current position.
You're leading again, as usual. How do you feel about it?
Well, you know, it's only 2 days in, 2 full competitive days. It's still a long way to go, but yeah, things are going quite nicely for us.
Yeah, you're building up a bit more of a lead every day, but Steve Riley seems to be getting the hang of his 600 behind you.
Yeah, Steve's really got his bike cracking out. Both the 600s are going absolutely beautiful. And Steve's just sort of just sitting there, taking it easy and looking after his bike. I think he's hoping that, you know, I might have a problem and he can make a charge a little bit later on if his bike's still in good nick. And so we're both just taking it easy at this stage, because it's a long way to go.
You've always ridden 250s in this event before, but now you've got a 600 and a pretty quick one from what I hear. How do you find it?
Yeah, it's a bit different. Everything, the bike accelerates about twice as fast, but the only thing about the big bike, it doesn't slow down as quick as a 250, so you get to quite a bit more speed, and then you've got to do something with it. So it takes a bit of an effort to slow the thing down from speed too.
Yeah, you've overshot a few corners already, haven't you?
Yeah, I've been overshooting a few corners, but you know, it's good. It's got more power and it's easier to ride in some ways. It gets there quicker, and you get in at the overnight stop a bit quicker too. So it's going good. I sort of put the pressure on a bit, and me and John are sort of getting away from the rest of the guys a bit. So you know, we'll be happy just to keep doing that every day, and just hopefully we can do that to the end of the event.
As competitors awake on day 4, the spectacular sight of Australia's most famous landmark awaits them, Ayers Rock, or Uluru to the Australian Aborigine. Just west of Ayers Rock, and some say even more spectacular, the Olgas. After a good night's rest, competitors roll up their beds and prepare for another safari day. this time from Ayers Rock to Alice Springs. Inaba's ever-present band of helpers is on hand to assist him into the car.
How are you going?
Yeah, it's okay. The car is a bit unstable because it's a short wheelbase, and I think a long one would be better, so next year I will definitely come with a long one. And we have a big problem with those Japanese cars because they are very quick and it's very difficult to get hold of them.
Some last-minute adjustments to Peter Lockhart's Holden Jackaroo. And most competitors are thoughtful as they line up for their start from Ayers Rock on what they know will be a hard day to the next resting place at Alice Springs. The competitors head east again on the Lassiter Highway for a fuel stop at Curtin Springs and then the start of the first of the day's 3 selective sections near Angus Downs Station.
What's your third on the road and what's your plans for today?
Yeah, I think we'll just take a fairly easy bob over the rough stuff and you know, see how we go. But it's a long way. You know, there's another 5 days yet, and you know, this is only a short section, and apparently it's a little bit rough in there. Looking at the road map, and you know, we'll just take it easy and see what happens.
How's the gearbox holding out?
The gearbox is all right. The back diff's gone now.
Yeah? So what's the plan?
The plan is to get to Alice in the best way we can. Just go carefully. So we're going to take it gently. We're in front, the front diff only. We lost the rear diff yesterday about halfway through. But the front diff got us in, so we'll keep plugging along pretty gently. This is the same road they used around Australia. We did it about a month ago, so this little bit's not too hard.
Prophetic words indeed from Peter Lockhart as he becomes trapped in the soft sands of the Palmer River. Rotsuko Nishiro finds a way past as an official media car lends a helping hand to clear the track. Onui and Howard tackle the soft sand at speed but the little Suzuki is performing well and takes it in its stride. Frenchman René Dantzler puts up a consistent midfield performance and is encouraged by some of the French media contingent. Hedericks arrives in a big hurry and a flurry of sand, showing the style that's given him his reputation as the Iron Man of the safari. And Soichi Miyashiro played the role of minder to paraplegic driver Inaba, and so had little chance to show their real potential. Back into the rocks again. Saka and Denham are hard at it, with Arai Suzu close behind. On a fast sandy section, the desert master John Hedericks shows the style that has won him so many Australian safaris. Just look at his control and speed over the rough sandy tracks as the big Honda eats up the rough. A steep creek crossing causes a few problems, and Tim Scriven's Honda is one victim as it catches some stray barbed wire around the rear wheel and sprocket, requiring some quick work with a handy pocket tool. Glenn Hoffman is not impressed as he encounters a buried steel post which dumps him unceremoniously from his KTM. But it's all in a day's work, and Glenn soon gets back on the bike and on with the job. Alice Springs, Australia's famous red centre town, nestled among the spectacular McDonnell Ranges, is the overnight stop on day 4, a welcome sight for weary competitors after a tough day's competition.
I enjoyed last year. I think it's a quite interesting rally. It's completely different from all the other rallies. And obviously the World Cup is important for me, so I need some points. I need I need a lot of points for the World Cup. But the main reason actually was because the countryside is very nice, the people are very nice, and it's a lot of fun here.
You had an interesting day today, I understand. Would you care to tell us a little bit about it, please?
Yeah, that was very quick in the morning, the first section. It was very nice, so we speeded up and it was okay. And the second one was very, very rough, and that suited us excellent. So we caught 2 cars in that section, and the third section, which was quicker and sandy, very nice as well. We got another car, so we made from 7th actually then to 3rd place.
And 20 kilometers before the finish, we had vapor lock in the car, so we had air bubbles in the fuel system. We stopped twice for 20 minutes, so we lost all what we gained before. It was good in the beginning and bad at the end, but let's see what comes up tomorrow.
John, day 4. You're in the baby class.
Yeah.
How's it going?
Oh, well, it's been really good. Like, I've enjoyed the trip, and we're just going to make it to the finish. That's what we're here for, just having a good time.
Do you think the track's as hard as previous years, or a bit easier perhaps?
Places is harder. Other than that, it's about average, the same, yeah.
Do you think the legs are too long?
No, I'm enjoying them. Like, the first few days we were having trouble because we weren't quite organised and didn't have our water supply, but after that we've been a bit more organised, and no, we're going well now.
Well, Keith and Doug, day 4. How are we faring? What was your day like?
Oh, we had a pretty good day. No trouble today. We didn't have any tyre problems today. We've had tyre problems every other day. We were talking to Bob last night and this morning, and we said we would take it easy today and just poke our way through, and we did. And a few other competitors had a bit of trouble, and we were there at the end of the day.
Doug, you've been on the safari before.
Yeah, I've done a few years recovery, and started last year, but only last couple of days. So I'm on a bit of a record at the moment. Yeah.
It's pretty unusually hot this year. Normally we would still expect to be wearing parkas and pullovers and things. Is the heat affecting you at all?
Not really. It wasn't too bad yesterday. It was fairly overcast. But today we had a bit of fuel aerating problem, but we sorted that out and no more problems, yeah.
This is Glenn Hoffman's bike.
That's correct, yeah.
We've been running now for 4 days. How's the bike going?
Great, actually, motor-wise, everything else hanging together fantastic. I'd say the only problem we've had is with the actual ICO meter, which gives him the distance between obstacles, and somehow he's managed to survive without it, so we might just leave it disconnected.
Well, it's a KTM, and KTM is not a regular bike seen out here in the safari before. How's it handling the conditions out here?
Well, so far so good. I think the water cooling helps it. They've got a very good oiling system. So this is all fairly new for KTM, this sort of event, but at the moment they're proving themselves quite well, and we're scaring the Hondas, hopefully.
Well, they've got a pretty good success record in the African rallies and in the European competition. So are they handling the heat all right over here?
Yeah, not a problem with the heat. Like I say, the water cooling helps. They run at constant temperature, whereas the air-cooled bikes tend to run a bit warm. We know exactly how hot it's running. But yeah, King Garter over there does very well. So we're having to prove the same in Australia. So.
Jeff Pickering, day 4, the car's up on jacks. What's the problem?
There's no problem. Routine maintenance. There are a couple of minor cracks that we want to repair, but the car's going very, very well.
So every day you turn around and do this amount of maintenance on the cars to keep them going, keep them on the track every day?
Every day the car's checked from top to bottom. It's the only way. We can't afford for anything to go wrong on the track, Tom.
Towards the Lander River through the point marked 111.16.
Road Director Troy Carpenter briefs the media drivers each night and shows that his knowledge of Central Australia is soon to rival that of his father, event director and clerk of the course, Bob Carpenter.
Over to Pine Hill Station where the airstrip's matched. Sandy Creek, Tanaki Bore, and then that road actually goes straight out along the fence.
The safari continues to the north of Alice Springs, across the vast cattle stations of Central Australia, over a course that is sometimes fast, sometimes rough, but always exciting.
If I yell out at night, there's a reply of blue silence. The screen is no comfort, I can't speak my sentence. They blew the lights at Heaven's Gate, and I don't know why. But if I work all day on the blue sky mine, there'll be food on the table tonight. Still I walk up and down on the blue sky mine. There'll be money in your pocket tonight. The candy store hoppers fly to the shareholders. They're crossing their fingers, they pay the truth,